Hi, I'm Luann Worley with Rockin Book Reviews, and I'm so delighted here to be with Lisa McKendrick, and we're going to talk about her wonderful book, Brush with Love. Lisa, I'd like to start with sharing with everybody a little bit about yourself so they can get to know you better. Tell me a little bit about your childhood, where you grew up, how many siblings, and so forth.
Okay, I grew up in Arizona and lived there until I went off to college. I have, there are 6 kids in our family, 3 boys and 3 girls. And I grew up going down to Mexico quite a bit because my dad was from the colonies of Mexico. Loved that, had a ton of cousins. It was pretty much a Tom Sawyer existence down there. It was a lot of fun. And in addition to that, I spent a lot of time in Utah because my mom's parents were in Utah. So that was the childhood. And then I got up to BYU for college and met my husband as a freshman. We just were friends until we both came back from our missions. Then we started dating, and now we have 7 kids, and we lived far from all of our family. We lived in Florida. So we've been here for over 20 years.
Wow.
Yeah.
Well, that's almost like home, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. Relate a couple of childhood memories that had an influence or impacted your life to lead you to where you are today.
Well, I think one of the things that I could draw as a possible connection is, for example, in this last book that I've written, Brush with Love, there's an older man who's a character, and he is a mentor and a guide for Lana, the main character. I had the good fortune of having 2 wonderful grandfathers, so I think that part of how they entered the story is through my childhood experiences with my grandparents, and particularly my grandfathers, and how wonderful they were to me.
Did you read a lot as a child?
Yeah, I did. I read a lot, and I tried. I think I started writing in high school. Just trying my hand at different things like poetry and storytelling. I always enjoyed writing. But I didn't start to take it seriously until I was out of college. I graduated in English, and then I also got a master's degree in English. But to take the time to sit down and write and weave the tapestry of a story and believe in yourself that you can do it, that was something I didn't instantly fall into. It took work for me to
What was your inspiration? What inspired you to do so?
Just feeling like, I think one of the things that inspired me was just a love of storytelling. I love character development and words, just how even a simple sentence can have so many possibilities. And so I enjoyed all of that. And gosh, there's a famous author, his name escapes me right now, but he was in the elevator with one of the presenters at SCBWI in Miami, one that I attended, and she asked him, what do I need to do to become a good writer? And he said, sit in a chair and stay there. So that's one of the things you got to learn, is to just stay at your craft, not get up, don't watch TV, don't get distracted. So
You said in your bio that it took forever for you to get your master's degree. How long did it take?
Well, we moved here. My husband was offered a job here in Florida, so we moved here, and I was only partway through. I started my master's degree in Provo. When we were living in Provo, it was easy. We, were married in married student housing. But then we moved to Florida, and I wanted to finish with BYU. So we had to kind of wait until we had enough money so that we could continue to pay for the classes and pay for me to go back in the summertime to take some classes. And then I had to take other classes at USF. So it just was a process. And, at the time I had a new baby and 4 kids. So it was not something that happened overnight, but it got done.
Were you able to take it online, or did you have to go back every time?
No, none of the classes were really done online. I did do some mentoring. I believe some of the mentoring from like Dean Hughes was done via emails, but most of it you had to be in class. So
boy, that is dedication.
yeah, so it was good. It was good, and I learned a lot. But I learned even more the more I sat down and just tried to write a book.
So what advice have you got to others, hopefuls that are wanting to become an author?
Well, I would say, first of all, do a lot of reading, which, most people who want to write are interested in reading. So do a lot of reading, and then go ahead and begin, just like start, but don't be surprised if your first book is a learning experience rather than something that will see its way into publication. Although there are so many different avenues now with publishing that it very well could find its way into publication if you self-publish through Amazon or something like that. So I would also say, don't be too hard on yourself. It's easy to get discouraged. But if you want to improve your craft as a writer, as Stephen King said, it's surprising that if you just stay at it, even mediocre writers get a lot better. So, just, don't give up on yourself. And
was Fresh with Love your first published book?
No, I have published 5 books now. Fresh with Love, though, was a really fun book to see.
It's outstanding.
Well, I'm glad you think so. It was hard for me to write because Lana had this kind of troubled background, and so I wanted to not have it just be a romantic comedy, and she's past her early years and the crisis that created for her, but to have it resonate in her current life, but also not make the book so dark. That was all we knew about her was, I had a very tough beginning, la la la. So anyway, just finding the balance was a little rough. And then I'm not a painter. I have never even attempted to paint, but I love painting. And I have, as you can see in the background, I have quite a few paintings in our home. So I had to be able to tell the story from a painter or an artist perspective. And that just took, you know, that's another bit of advice, is that don't be put off, you know, from telling a story about like an artist or an astronaut, something that you are not. You can learn enough to fake it. And so I had
You did very well.
Thank you. I had the good fortune of becoming friends with an artist named Heidi Darley, and she's an excellent artist. She happens to also be an incredibly nice person, and she gave me so much feedback that was incredibly useful. I didn't realize, for example, that an artist doesn't clean their palette every night, because that would be wasteful. So instead they store it in a, well, she stores hers in a pizza box and puts it in the refrigerator, and that's how they preserve the paint. So things like that you don't know unless you're talking to somebody who is an artist. And so I was really grateful for her insights into that world that I know nothing about.
Well, it came across like you. I thought you were a painter. So.
Yeah. Well, I will tell you one thing that that I try to do with all of my books. This Brush with Love is no different. At the center of the book, I try to have there be one of Christ's teachings. So this book, the center of this book, or the axis of the book, as I kind of think of it, is the parable of the pearl of great price. And I tried to have that influence many different aspects of the book, that Lana was this pearl of great price, and she was cast aside by her mother for whatever reasons. I mean, we're not judging her mother in the book because we don't know what compelled her to give Lana up. But also, you know, Walt making that choice to, or I'm sorry, not Walt, Levan, the older man, making the choice that he wanted to tell that story of the pearl of great price because he wanted to create something that would continue to speak for him once he passed away or was no longer able to communicate. So at its core, even though I hope it's entertaining, there's also that teaching. And I try not to be heavy-handed, but to just let it kind of be there. Because I don't want to.
You were successful.
Well, thank you.
Very successful.
Well, thank you.
Okay. In your books, you have a lot of humor, and I love that. Is that humor natural, a part of your everyday life, or is it created from other events?
Well, I'm so glad you think that there's humor and that it was funny, because I work really hard at trying to infuse my writing with humor. And humor is a big part of the McKendrick family. My husband and I are constantly trying to make the other laugh. Like even today, I was like, you know, saying to him, you know, shh, I'm too busy. I'm busier than you. So, you know, I can't talk to you right now, you know. So he was trying to come back and be even more busy than I was. So neither one of us had time for each other. But that's just like the way we interact. We are always trying to, and it probably has something to be being like, we both come from families of 6, and we're like, I'm the 4th and he's the 5th. And to get noticed, we probably had to like have, you know, develop a sense of humor. So it's probably just the result of being neglected.
Talking about large families, you've got a large family. How do you possibly find right?
It's tough. You know, we have 7 kids, and I was just noticing, like, I'm going to be presenting at the next ANWA conference in Arizona, which I'm very excited about. And the keynote speaker is Martine Levitt, who has written Calvin. It's huge success. She has 10 kids and like 57 grandchildren. I don't know how many grandchildren she has. She's got, an army. And so to give each person what they need and to write award-winning books, I'm really looking forward to talking to her and see how she does it, because for me it's a constant struggle. What are you gonna fold laundry, or are you gonna write a paragraph? There's always something that's got to give. So
I hope you have any luck. When I was a young mother, frustrated because I have 8 children, and
oh wow.
and I was so frustrated, and so I got all these books on how to organize your time and so forth, and I got this book by a lady with 9 kids, and I thought, wow, I could, she had 9 kids in 7.5 years, so I thought, wow, I could do that. And she had like 2 sets of twins, a set of triplets, and she was up all night sewing, this primary president, all this youth advisor, and I thought, forget it. Yeah, I was so depressed after I read that.
It's like, no, I can't do that.
But
yeah.
Tell me what a typical week in a life of Lisa McKendrick's like.
So every night or every day starts with me telling myself, I'm going to get to bed early. And then I never get to bed early. And I always think, I'm going to wake up really early. And then I don't wake up as early as I like to. So there's that. And then, the kids, getting the kids to school. We still have 3 who are at home. We have 1 daughter who's on a mission in the Philippines right now. So we're excited. We'll be hearing from her later today. And we'll get her email. And then we've got the older kids who are either in school or graduated. So the focus is pretty much the younger kids right now, getting them to school. And then me, dividing my time between housework, helping with some of what we do at my husband's office. He's a lawyer. And then also working out, because I really like to work out. And my big thing right now is yoga. So I usually hit a yoga class, and then I try and, get the house clean. So it's like those balls are constantly being juggled. So
I can see why you find a little time to write.
And then writing. Yeah, I got to write.
But I am impressed.
Yeah, in addition to everything else, and I'm always like feeling like I'm not fast enough, but you just do what you can,
Well, tell me what your next big project is.
So I'm working on a book. I want to write another romantic comedy. This is more, I think this one is lighter than this one. So this one had a little, not dark, but had a little more serious tone to it. This one that I'm working on is tentatively called Flipping in Love. And has to do with couple of people who are both trying to flip furniture and don't exactly hit it off at the start, but maybe they will. Maybe they'll like each other.
Well, if it's anything like the last one, this was really a fantastic read. I totally enjoyed it.
I'm so glad to hear that. That means so much to me. I appreciate that. Thank you.
So and you have a special offer for our audience, correct?
That's right. That's right. We are doing a Brush with Love Bonanza, a giveaway to the lucky winner. You'll get a free copy. So pay attention, and Luann will give you the details.
Okay, and it ends April 30th?
Yeah, it ends April 30th, and I'll sign it in whatever way you want it to. The lucky winner will get it delivered to their house, not by me, but by your friendly
Come on, why don't you just run it over?
Yeah. Yeah.
It was so nice visiting with you. Is there any final words you'd like to say before we close?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it. And
My pleasure.
To anyone who is trying to write a story, just stick with it. Don't give up on yourself, and learn as you go, and you'll only get better.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. And we want to tell you all to explore the universe through books. And we say goodbye for now.
Okay. Bye. Thank you so much.